Hello and good morning. Welcome to Star Wars Saturdays. This is the ongoing series that I run for The Gauntlet, which is kind of a living campaign set in the Star Wars universe. The time frame is between movies 3 and 4, so between Revenge of the Sith and New Hope, where the Empire is growing in its influence. The Jedi have been nearly wiped out, and everyone is running and fighting and living on the fringes. We are playing a game called One Percenter, which is written by Robert Nolan of Creepy Doll Studios. One Percenter was originally created as a game for playing Outlaw Bikers in a modern day setting. We have recast that and everyone is a swoop gang. The swoop is like a speeder bike. It's just a tricked out speeder bike. Speeder bikes are the things in Star Wars that you might have seen in, say, Return of the Jedi's. When I first saw them, they're super duper fast and scary. And then if you went back and saw expanded Star Wars, I think that they showed up in Tatooine. There was a swoop that kind of ran in front of a giant dinosaur-y dude that I feel terrible that I can't remember the name of off the top of my head. The cool thing about One Percenter is that just like in Star Wars, any species can be a member of this swoop gang. And we have quite a colorful cast. So what we're going to do today is, first of all, we'll go through a little bit of expectations. So I have shared with the group a website of expletives in the Star Wars universe. The general tone that we're going for is that while you guys do bad things, you're not bad guys. I'm very much going to use Sons of Anarchy as my influence. That you may move spice. You may be doing rough things. You're probably going to shoot folks with blasters, right? But it's hard. You guys are a little bit of a family, right? You come together. You also really don't like the fact that Nar Shaddaa, which is our setting, the Smuggler's Moon in Hutt Space, is like a giant criminal syndicate, Las Vegas, and the Authority are all bought and paid for. You guys, as a gang, band together, but as individuals, your lives wouldn't be that great. The Nar Shaddaa is okay. Steven is with us. Man, I know you're having some tech issues, Steven. Stick with us, man. Keep trying. So the general tone that I'm looking for is I don't want people who are psychopaths. I don't want for us to really get into torture. I would not like to have any harm to beings that would be considered children. You're probably not going to see a whole lot of them because you're in Vegas, like Star Wars Vegas. But, you know, it will exist if you bust into some entertainer's room. She probably has a kid, or he may have a small kid. Are there any things that you guys would like to take off the table or talk about right now? This is kind of our lines and veils discussion. Anything you want to make sure that we avoid or that we draw a curtain on, so it's a thing that could exist in the fiction, but we're not going to put a lens on it if this were a TV show. Okay. Now, here's the thing. We've had this conversation at the outset, but as we play, if you run into something that makes you uncomfortable or you're like, whoa, when that first happened, I was just like, I'll let it slide, but it's really starting to get to me. It causes you to pull back or be uncomfortable with the game. Just you can make an X, right? I'll see your avatar. I'm always watching to see excited or dismayed or horrified reactions. Or you can just type something in the chat on our video. However you want to reach out to me and say X card, we'll stop. We'll break at that point. I'm going to ask you real quick, hey, what was it that you X-carded so that we can work around it? We have 6 brilliant creative minds. I promise you that anything that caused you a bit of a block, we can work around and make more awesome. So don't worry about it. It's more important that you feel safe and that you're having a good time. We're going to explore some dark parts of maybe the dark side of the Force. Who knows? Some dark parts of Star Wars, but it doesn't mean that we have to not have fun. So with all of that huge preamble, we are now going to introduce characters, talk about your gang, like your gang is going to have a name, right? We'll figure out what it is that your gang does, and then we get to pick and create your rival gang, dudes that you really hate, which is going to be awesome. Let's start off with, I'm going to go left to right in the character keeper. So I'm going to start alphabetically as well with Ace. Jason, tell us about your character.
Sure. Ace is fancies himself a bit of a gunslinger. He is fast. He is accurate. He's relatively good at talking, which he often uses in a more threatening than cajoling sort of way, because he wants people to know that he's kind of a badass, and he will shoot. But at the same time, he recognizes that, you know, there are times for subtlety and skill, and those are not things that he is super great at. He's capable smuggler, but mostly what he's there is to be a very visible and vocal heavy in the sense of being able to shoot people. He also draws a little bit more attention in that he is the token human in the group, which oddly enough means that people want to give him crap because humans tend to be on the top, and here he is on the bottom with the rest of you. But it is where he is happy to be, because by golly, these are his peeps. This is his patch, and he will defend it.
Oh, that's lovely. And you have twin blasters, right?
Yep.
Curious. So these twin blasters is this something you saved up for and bought? Is this something you took as a trophy off of someone? Is it something that was handed down from like father to son or mother to son? Where did you get these twin blasters?
These are excellent questions I had not considered.
Do you want a minute?
No, I'm happy enough to do it. I'm going to say that he actually, you know, as time has gone by, he's upgraded basically by taking weapons off of people. But this is a really fine set that he has been using for a while now. Like they are a cut above his pay grade, and he is very, very fond of them. So he uses them now almost exclusively. And whoever our rival gang is, he clearly took it from someone on that gang. They had them. They had aspirations of greatness. Ace was better, so he took them as spoils.
Oh, this sounds like there's some kind of thing that you guys do where you go stun blaster gunfights.
Yeah, like counting coup and just taking each other's weapons. I think that works.
I love it. That's great. Awesome, Ace. Thank you so much. Next, we will go still alphabetically. It's about to break, but we'll stick with this theme. Michael, tell us about Buzz.
Sure. Buzz, or BZ-82, as his designation is a sort of retired combat droid. I think he served as a bodyguard for some Nar Shaddaa, no good person. I'm assuming he was probably decommissioned after the Clone Wars, and I'm guessing whoever he was guarding died, and so he was kind of left to his own devices. And I think that he over time started to develop some sort of quirks and glitches and things that are supposed to be cleared by a standard memory wipe, which is a very common practice for a droid. But I think that Buzz, as he has developed, has become vehemently opposed to memory wipes and restraining bolts. And so I think that he's kind of taken on his own personality. And I mean, droid rights is always like a huge tangent in Star Wars that kind of can derail things, but we'll just leave that simmering under the surface. But that's because I don't want to bring that too much in the forefront. But that's kind of what he thinks about. I think he really respects his gang because they all treat him as an equal instead of as like a lowly droid servant type thing, and he can trust them to never put any sort of restraining bolt or collar on him. So
I want to say that for what it's worth, I don't mind supporting droid rights, but more specifically Buzz rights. So if someone attempts to abridge Buzz's rights,
right.
I think I'm all about standing up for Buzz.
Awesome. That's what I'm hoping to see from the rest of the gang, if everybody's cool with that.
A question there.
Sure.
What sort of personality has he developed over the? How would the if you could say, well, how would people around him describe him? Like funny or sad, or like is he tilting towards something?
I think if he was funny, it'd probably be unintentional, and I hope to bring some of that. But I think it's probably more of like a fastidiousness in a way. Like he's like very dedicated to his work in a sort of way. He does a lot of work on the bikes and stuff. He's very mechanically minded, so I think that's sort of the personality he has. Yeah, but maybe there is some sadness, some.
Or it was just a question, but yeah, cool.
Thanks.
I got a question for you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Buzz, what are their pronouns? Do they go they, them, he, him, she, her? Does it matter?
I don't think it necessarily matters. I think I'm going to go with the sort of Star Wars tradition where they do gender robots.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he'll go as he.
Cool.
But I don't think he was necessarily designed in one particular way, but that's just kind of how they do it in Star Wars. So that's what I'm going to go with.
Neat.
So Haram, yeah, I'm going to go with Haram. Haram is old Republic clone, retired, and now works for the rival gang. And yeah, he hates you. He actually has a necklace of restraining bolts that he just carries around. He's bought them. They keep he keeps adding them. It's mostly just to mess with Criff with you. Buzz, why is it that did you guys actually face each other in battle, or did you do something to maybe a squad that he was close to? Why is there this enmity other than the general? He was a clone, you were a droid. There was that whole thing in the Clone Wars.
I don't think I was the particular droid that he faced off against, but I bet that he had a good buddy in the army who was killed by a model of my droid in a skirmish. So,
all right.
I think I still have. I mean, over the ages, I've kind of gained a bit of customization, or a little bit different from my base model, but it's still a recognizable symmetry, I guess. So,
love it. Okay, great. Let's move on. We're still in alphabetical. We're going to jump all the way near the end though, and learn about Weasel. Christian, tell us about Weasel. Oh, you're talking on mute.
Yeah. Weasel is a wheat quay. I think, I'm not sure if I pronounced it right, but his real name is Shara, and he was born but taken early from his homeworld of Srilur, I think. Srilur, yeah, a desert planet, but taken to a hut project in a slave camp where he was forced to work in a mineral extraction camp. It was scorchingly hot, but as he came from this planet, he and his kin was quite suited for doing that sort of labor. That shaped him and really gave him an issue with authorities. So he became a troublemaker early on and escaped at some point. So after finding a route to Nar Shaddaa, he came in contact with some people, hopefully some of you guys here. Yeah.
So Weasel's an escaped slave.
Yeah, I was thinking something like that. Yeah, as he's coming from, I don't see him as having a military background, but rather a fugitive or something like that. And as he comes from a desert planet, I thought that would be something that would work. Probably.
I love it. Now, how is he tagged as a slave? Does he have some kind of like microchip in him? Does he is it an ear or some kind of tattoo? If someone who really knows, like a bounty hunter really knows, and they could get a full look at Weasel, how could they tell that he's a slave?
He probably have some sort of implant in his neck, like one of those clunky boxes fitted to the lower part of his neck where his shoulders is meeting his neck. I'd say with some sort of strange diodes blinking, some patterns.
Interesting. Why has he had that cut out or removed?
No, I don't think he has removed it yet, but he wants to do it.
Oh, he wants to, so he just hasn't had enough credits?
It's probably quite expensive. It's probably sort of affixed to his nervous system or something like that. So he's covering himself up with some sort of what do you call it? Scarf, like a big scarf going around his head, like covering most of his mouth and a bit of the ears. So his bald, wrinkly head just comes up, and then it's red goggles.
Awesome.
Christian, I would love to attach my character to Weasel.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking of being like a former bounty hunter type thing. Yeah. So maybe like I had you captured, we got stranded here, like my ship blew up or something, and you won me over. And so now I don't want to turn you in.
Okay. So you want to turn me in?
No. I don't want to turn you in. I want to have like in our backstory, like you won me over. You used to be the thing I was gonna turn you in.
Interesting. Really cool.
You good with that?
Cool. Super. Yeah.
Oh, that is wicked. Good job, Yosh. Wow, that's so cool.
Awesome.
Awesome. So yeah, Weasel, does he have any family that are still enslaved?
I think of him as separated from his family early on, and that's one of the main reasons he developed. Because I created him as a vandal. You say that in English? A vandal, like a youth, like a troublesome youth. I focused on. Let me see. Just gonna fix my character sheet here. I focused on vandalism, theft, and assault. So he's not a murderer. But he's definitely not backing down from a conflict. But he likes, he probably, before he met Chiz, was that your name, Joshi?
No, I'm going with Preacher as my like the biker name. My given name is Drone Nam Memu.
Okay. Oh yeah, all right.
Hey, I'm sorry. I got booted. That was really weird. I actually had to log back into Google.
Okay.
And isn't that crazy? I had to log back into Google and like do a 2-step verification and everything. Like that is the craziest thing. So okay, good. The other me got kicked. I'm sorry. The last thing that I heard was I had asked Weasel, are any of your family still enslaved? And that's when I got kicked.
Okay. No, he got separated from his family, like probably a big tribal family, but he got separated when the Huts came, and so everyone either fled, got captured, or in some other way disappeared from their homelands. So that was probably one of the reasons why he was turning into a troublesome youth offender, or like a troublesome young person. And as I said when you were away, Rich, I've been focusing my talents or expertises are theft, vandalism, and assaults. So he's not a murderer, but he's definitely a troublemaker. So that could be maybe there was some nice opportunities when Joshi and I sort of met, we have maybe had some really nice times finding time to talk about life and death and the meaning of everything. Sort of lonely, stranded on a strange cliff somewhere before. Yeah.
I like that. That is really cool. Good. Okay.
So that's how far I've come. But I'd love to develop it further if someone has any good ideas.
Well, I was going to shoot this question to the whole group, but I think it sounds like it's pretty applicable to Weasel. Do you have any sort of like spiritual practices that you engage in, or your culture sticks with you? You talked about like
that would be really cool,
and death and stuff. So
let me think about that for a few minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, good idea.
Cool,
like that, especially if it comes from a tribal desert community.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Sweet. So there is a Twi'lek. There's a member of this opposing gang by the name of Unseka. Unseka is, well aware of slave races and the like. And so I think the two of you, Weasel, have shared a drink or two.
Okay.
What is something that you don't completely hate about Unseka?
Unseka.
Male Twi'lek. Like when the two of you sat and talked, there's something about Unseka that you're like, okay, he's not the worst being in the world. I'll still bring him, of course, because
Unseka made me laugh a lot. Like when I was really depressed and sad, because I was taken at a very young age. I'd say that Unseka made some really cool jokes about being alone and being a drifter, and made me see the happy things in life anyway.
Cool, I like it.
You said some positive things, right?
Yes, that's exactly right. That's what I want.
Who is Unseka besides being a Twi'lek and former?
Oh, he's the main mechanic for the rival gang.
Okay. So, okay, all right.
So the two of you have probably drunk a few intoxicants at maybe a local bar by the name. I had a name written down for a cool bar, the Slag Pit.
Okay, good.
The Slag Pit is where you guys have shared a few intoxicants before. Cool. Next, we will go out of alphabetical order. Unless we put an X before Scrap. We're going to learn about Scrap, though.
So, Scrap is a Jawa. This is unusual. Jawa are usually very clannish and stick to Tatooine. He's been exiled from his family. He speaks in Chitter. I'm not going to do that. But there's a Jawa trade language that most people who speak Common can understand, but he's not going to be completely clear. He tends to, as a Jawa, property rights don't mean much. Things are kind of communal. So I think he's going to be picking up, so he's going to be stealing a lot. He's going to be picking up your stuff as well as stuff from outside of the gang. And I think you guys just know, I'm missing this wrench. Let's go check Scrap, right? But I think that Scrap keeps a lot of the bikes running and maybe tuned up and that kind of stuff, and finding spare parts. I think he has a close affinity with Buzz, being as that's part of his group, that's part of his family, and probably chitters along with Buzz quite a bit.
What is an upgrade that you suggested to Buzz that he just did not? It was too far. It was too much.
I think I suggested that he had a third arm. because I think that third arm would help him hold his blaster while he drove his swoop bike.
Nice.
Okay.
And why does Buzz not want to go for that? Aesthetics, or is there some kind of balancing issue, a servo problem?
I would have to reconfigure my whole wiring system. It would be overhaul completely. You know, I think it'd be better to have a drone or something like that. I don't know. But that does sound cool. Maybe down the line. No, I love that. That's awesome to be pounding around with scrap. I was gonna ask, what is like one thing that Buzz owns that Scrap knows is completely off limits?
Ooh. Probably his blaster.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's probably true of everyone. I think at some point Scrap might have been falling in with the wrong group before he came to join this gang, and he probably took someone's blaster, and whenever they found it missing, whenever they needed it, they beat the crap out of him. As a Jawa, I do want to mention tone. I'd rather this not become silly. I think it's easy with a Jawa. And I think that I'd rather go towards the, thievery and sneakiness part than the, silly goofiness. Yeah.
Cool.
Love it. Thank you for pointing that out. I think Hiram, the clone, the aforementioned clone, you were a member of the rival gang, and you stole his blaster.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
You good with that?
Yeah.
So I'm noticing we have this kind of theme of people who've lost, that are exiles in one way or the other, that they've lost family, that all the other droids are decommissioned, that they used to be slaves, et cetera, which I think is pretty badass. So I'm going to go back and say that Ace's human family all died working in the factories that keep the furnaces that support Narshada's casinos lit. And he has no interest in that. And I think it would be cool if we're basically reforging a new family. Like we have all of these people that are kind of left over, and then they're making something new.
Oh, that's lovely. That's a nice little tweak. I think that we need to name one of the casinos that gets the power from the mines. I mean, it's probably a lot, but there's probably one big casino. By the way, There are, I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at the pictures that I shared, but there are casinos, and then there are like these floating citadel casinos that skiff boats will float out to. Those are the really high stakes, high roller ones. I imagine they're also the largest with power consumption. So I think it'd be cool if it were one of those, right?
How about like a floating casino called Heaven?
Oh, yes. Heaven. Lovely. Lovely. Thank you so much. Scrap, why were you exiled? The Jawas, they're pretty, they're not terribly choosy.
True. I think we can discover that during play, but one of the images that I have is he's probably broken one of the fundamental laws of the Jawa. This might be something along the lines, maybe he put someone else in danger, one of the clan in danger. Yeah.
Nice. You heard some Tusken Raiders coming and he ran away. No, that is great. I like that a lot. We'll discover it in play. Last question about the exile then. Does the rest of the gang know? Does just Buzz know that you're exiled?
I think that the reason I say that we're exiled is there's very few Jawa off of Tatooine when I looked into the history of stuff. So it's probably very unusual for them to have seen a Jawa. So I think that they recognize that I'm probably, I think they recognize that I'm sad and lonely and miss home. I think they recognize that I'd rather be at home. I'd rather be back on Tatooine with the rest of the clan. But they probably don't know why I left. Just that it's not really my choice.
Okay. Oh, that's really cool. That is, oh, that's delightful, Stephen. Great job. Last but not least, and then we'll work on Rival Gang. We've already heard a little bit about Yoshi's character, but let's know some more.
So Preacher is a Chiss. She is her. She used to be a former bounty hunter. She had a tendency to go after the bounties that were dead rather than alive, because it was easier to take in somebody who was already not breathing. And that was kind of her style of going after things. And so she is an expertise in the fine art of murdering people and things like that. And she probably did a little bit more collateral damage than was necessary. And so her bounties tended to have a lot of like fines and things to pay back all of the buildings she blew up while she was getting this guy. So she wasn't necessarily the most successful bounty hunter, because she would have this huge bounty and then 90% of it would get taken away because they had to pay back the people of all the things that she destroyed. So that's a little bit about her. Her name is Preacher, and that's from her bounty hunting days, because basically when they needed somebody that they wanted dead and didn't really care about the dead or alive, the or alive part, they would call for Preacher, because that person would need a preacher.
That's great. Does she still have her bounty hunter license, or
I think she probably right now technically is like it's under temporary revoked, because she was supposed to bring in Weasel and she hasn't, and that may have been a while ago. And so she probably has like an expired like license, and maybe if people aren't checking about it, it'll still work, but maybe not.
Nice. I like that a lot.
A question, Yoshi.
Yeah.
When you found me, and I was running away, I guess. What made you stop and actually take time to talk? Did you have something that drove you to take a pause, or?
So I'm thinking that like maybe just the circumstances of where I found you, I couldn't kill you, like I couldn't like do my normal extreme violence, so like I had to do something like and capture you, and you just maybe looked because like it sounds like you're somebody who is a little bit more about like tricking and vandalism and not about violence, that like you gave up so easily rather than being hurt, that like I couldn't justify to myself that it's easier to kill you than to just bring you in alive. And I think during that point, maybe we got to talking, because like you just went along instead of struggling. Does that work?
Yeah, sure, for sure. Absolutely. Sounds awesome. Yeah.
Cool.
Nice. So other than this one guy you let get away.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rich.
No, that was great. No. Don't apologize. That was wonderful. I was just picking back up the thread and keeping going.
Yeah.
Other than this one you chose to get away, what is the big haul that has eluded you, Preacher? The big bounty? Is it someone that was extremely well connected? Were they someone who was just really, really clever and outwitted you? What is it about this one bounty, quarry, that has eluded you from your bounty hunting days? You probably put it aside, right? So.
Yeah, I put it aside. I think that the thing is, they had me dead to rights at one point, and they didn't kill me instead of doing it. And so like I feel sort of like a little bit honor bound to not try to kill them, and that has caused me to not go all lethal to try to capture them, which allows them just the little liberty to always get away. Like they have that extra little bit that I can't quite nail them down. And then after a couple of scraps back and forth, I and getting caught up with Weasel, I'm hoping never to see them again, but we'll see.
I'm going to say that is a Zabrak.
Sure.
By the name of Stakamo. I'll
Nice.
stick that in our NPCs and Places tab. So if you guys aren't watching, I've been updating that.
I think maybe Stakamo, just like a classic thing is maybe like a smuggler of some sort. So running something for some people. And so part of maybe why I didn't go in initially is I knew he was with a bunch of stuff that was probably worth more. He was smuggling something worth more than the bounty on him, which meant that I couldn't just blow it up and kill him because then I would actually be out money.
I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, that is great. So now we have. Were there any cross questions for Preacher? I don't want to cut that off.
Does Preacher have any military experience?
Probably.
Where did she learn her skills? I guess is what I'm curious.
I think that she probably served in Chiss military at the beginning and then got out of it after like serving some designated amount of time.
And then she just kind of went straight to freelance from there and
learned
the hard way. Cool.
Was she a trooper? Was she a pilot? What did she do for the Chiss military?
I think she was probably a trooper, not a pilot. I think she can fly, but that wasn't her specialty.
Awesome. We'll say that during her time with the Chiss military, she was a ground pounder. And thinking along the timeline, I don't know. I don't think she was involved in any significant. Like she wasn't. She's too young. Tell me if I'm wrong, but she looks like she's too young to have been part of the Clone Wars, which was 25 years ago.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So then she probably just was involved in patrols.
Yeah. It was slightly dull and boring, and hence the move to bounty hunters.
Maybe space station security.
Yeah.
Riding on freighters. A whole lot of training.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds terrible. I love it.
How long? How long has Buzz been on Nar Shaddaa?
Oh, it's probably been a long time.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking. As far as Scrap, how long have you been on here, Scrap?
So I don't think Scrap has been on Nar Shaddaa for that long. Maybe just a few years. But I think didn't you say that you were a bodyguard here before?
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's probably been
maybe the longest
25, 30 years then. Yeah.
So the thing about that is that Weasel and Buzz are the only people who've been there. They're the ones that have been there the longest, and you would have been there since before, or not Weasel, my character Ace, since Ace's family all died.
Right.
Which means there's a fair chance that you ended up becoming a parent figure there.
Okay.
If you want to roll with that.
I really wanted, I was like, I need to tie myself to Ace some more. How can I do that? We both have tools.
So much yeah.
It's kind of sad. I mean, I don't know if Buzz is a great dad, but he's probably pretty reliable at least.
Positive that Ace is not a great child, but we'll roll with that.
I love it. I love it.
It works with me as well because maybe not as strongly, but for sure at some level. I mean, like being young, being away from family, being like experiencing being a slave, and then finding a group that all tries to find a sort of identity together.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling the family angle for sure.
And it also, honestly, the more as you guys have gone, I like who Ace was. He's changed in kind of like a street samurai Yojimbo stuff. And I'm like, holy crap, he's idolizing what Buzz used to be now. So Ace has got this this chip on his shoulder wanting to be a gunslinger type, but yeah, he's trying to live up to the image of what Buzz did in his heyday.
He's probably seen some like old like staff spinning technique that Buzz has done, like from his old days. He's like,
oh, that's really wicked.
I didn't mean for you to see
I
that.
imagine, yeah, that's good. I like that a lot. I imagine that Ace, as a kid, probably watched a lot of Holonet stuff that got him the idea of the gunslinger in the westerns. Maybe that's how Buzz raised him. Here, get in front of the hologram.
Got a whole ghost dog thing. Yeah, how does a robot raise a kid? Here's a training program.
Also, I saw something like I just got a feeling of Buzz having some sort of strange wisdom that he spreads around, coming with very like insightful comments from time to time, that everyone's like stands up. What's that about? Yeah, that sounds really, yeah, that must be what everything is about, like coming.
I think it could be selective too, because if you're being rebellious, you'd be like, you just need a brain wipe or whatever, you don't know what you're talking about.
Brain wipe.
That's nice.
You're not my real dad.
So, last bit of person I just want to point out. So we have a Jawa from Tatooine, where it's fucking hot, and we have a Chiss, basically from ice planets. So just point that out. Two of you probably never agree on the correct temperature. It's just the thing that amazes me. Side banter there. Let's name your gang and figure out how it is that you guys make credits. Then we're going to talk about your rival gang, which I've already tried to seed in a little bit about. And then we're going to take a break and we're going to jump straight into some stuff. So how do you guys what's your thing? Like, oh, we want to go get these guys. You guys involved in like drug running, protection? Do you work for a particular hut or a member of the cartel, and you're kind of his gang that does stuff? What are you guys feeling?
I right now, because of how everything's have gone, I'm kind of keen on the idea of us robbing from the rich and selling it to other people to make ourselves richer. Like basically of taking stuff from people and then selling it off for, reasonable prices.
Cool. I like that. All right. So your main thing is thievery. I like it. It feels right for this gang.
Protection business would be quite suitable next to that.
Yep.
We will watch out for you so nothing bad happens to your business, because that would be really bad for you and your family.
There's an element of it. Yeah.
Yes, so we don't take your stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a certain element of extortion, yeah.
Cool. What's your name of your club, your biker club?
I was thinking about something kind of oversized and big and ridiculous. So I was like, crate dragons are pretty often. So I was thinking like crate's teeth or something like that. Although I'm completely open to other things.
Yeah, that works well.
I like that.
Yeah, me too.
That's interesting, because there's actually a freighter in the game that we ran in December called the Crate Thing. So that's a neat little tie.
That's the freighter that Scrap took to get here.
I was a stowaway.
Yeah. On a transition ship. That's hilarious. All right, so you guys are calling yourselves the Crate's Teeth. What's your logo? Like a silhouette of some teeth. What is the logo for Crate's Teeth? Like an actual crate? Crate's like a dragon. Krayt. Star Wars dragon.
I think it would be neat if it was an actual dragon, like in a circular shape, but whatever.
Other thoughts? Logo thoughts?
Maybe like an Ouroboros crate, where it's eating its own tail kind of thing. Yeah.
Nice. I can already think of your rival gang's insults for your logo. I love it. Thank you. Just handed that to me.
Tail eaters or something like that.
Sweet. Okay. Good. So there is enough. Motto is a thing we can figure out. Rival. So let's talk about your rival. They are led by a clone who's in his like late 50s, and they have a Twi'lek who's their mechanic. What are we thinking these guys are named? Of course, they're going to name themselves something kind of militaristic, like like the Black Hammer or the Shadow Legion. Maybe that's a little too big. The Shadow Legion, like something squad, something military though. What do you guys? Any ideas?
Shadow Legion's pretty excellent. I was thinking that they probably have aspirations to being that shady law enforcement. Like they aren't, but they would like to be hired on as the official enforcers for one of the syndicorps or the casinos or something.
I like that. Cool. So
maybe they really want to work for heaven, so they call themselves like Seraphim or something like that. I don't know.
How about Seraphim Tactical? You guys like that?
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet. So your rivals are Seraphim Tactical. I think their symbol is just. I'm just going to lean into it real hard. It's just like a halo. Just like a glowing halo. It's like a circle.
They're zeros.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
That's our nickname for them. Hey, zeros.
Yes.
Halo. Oh, that's great. That's great. I love it. Awesome. So you guys are thieves. Crate's Teeth is the name of your gang. You generally like steal from the uber rich and resell it for profit and other stuff like that. That sounds amazing. There is a bar that's been mentioned already, the Slag Pit, as a place that you have been to. I imagine that casinos are a thing that will be involved. I've got a lot of ideas here. Any last bits before we close off and go to break that anybody wanted to mention, or a question they had, or a tie? Anybody feel like they don't have enough ties to the rest of the gang?
Yeah, I want to tie myself a little bit closer to Preacher. I think, Weasel and I have a good tie there, and I can kind of look at you tangentially as someone who kind of helped him out of that situation. But how can we triangulate that a bit more? Do you have any ideas?
Do you want a friendly, or is it possible that Buzz has lost some droids due to Preacher's kind of uber violence?
Well, and what sort of attitude towards droids do you have? Are you seeing them as more expendable? I don't know.
Well, I think in one sense, Buzz may appreciate that. I think droids are as expendable as everybody else. So I treat you all equally.
No, I have some droid friends. Listen. See, yeah. Buzz is a part of my gang. I don't have a problem with your kind.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think in my notes I put I didn't end up putting anything. I just put Preacher. So
yeah. I think that I don't have any problems with droids. Like, I think droids are people, but at the same time, I think everybody's expendable. So
I'm totally cool with leaving that kind of tabula rasa and letting things develop as we go along. But
yeah. I'll think about it. I think if Buzz is becoming sort of like a father figure in the gang, it would be interesting because that is Preacher is a little bit more of a loner in general. She has been part of a troop and stuff, and so knows working and collaborating with people. But maybe part of the reason why she went off as a bounty hunter initially is because there wasn't enough action, and people didn't necessarily agree with how much violence. And so now, if I'm here in this gang, maybe there's a little bit of you like, no, you don't need to kill that person, like type thing going on.
Okay, well, we'll see.
Nice. Any
Which would
anyone
be
else?
interesting for a droid to say, like, preserve that meat bag or whatever. That's not what you expect to hear.
I wanted to touch on things just to get my initial reasoning out here. So it seems to me if Buzz is kind of like a father figure for Weasel and Ace, then they end up having kind of a brother thing that we can play with. And then there's also Preacher and Ace are the most likely to reach for guns in a given situation, which I think is kind of fun. But I don't know yet what Ace's relationship to Scrap will be, other than Scrap keeping Buzz running, and I don't know. Maybe Scrap is like weird uncle.
Mommy?
I envision Scrap in general being a little bit of a nuisance to the gang, but something that when the chips are down, he has the pieces needed to put everything together.
Nice. He does have that like really wide barreled Jawa gun, like the picture. Yes, please.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, sweet, awesome.
Is he sort of when things go really bad? Is he the one that comes, like no, you're doing it all wrong. Let me help you. Like correcting.
Well, I think it's more like things go bad. Someone goes down. He's the one who drags you out.
Yeah.
You leave no one behind. You make sure everything's good. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that. Cool. I'm going to call break. We're going to take 5 to 7 minutes, and then we come back in. We're going to jump straight into a train robbery.
Nice. I'll see you soon.
Cool. See you guys in 5 to 7.
Hi, Christian.
Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you. So where are you located?
I'm in Sweden, on the west coast, on the Denmark side of Sweden. So,
nice.
So I'm fairly new to this Hangouts thing, but I've been following the Gauntlet for a year, a little bit more.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I've seen you guys through various medias, so I'm really happy to join in finally. But I must be honest. I feel like I have this language barrier. I'm not having English as my first language, so I always try to find the correct words. And sometimes I feel a little bit halted or drawn back just because I can't find the correct word. So don't hesitate to help me out if you see that I'm struggling to find a word. Just correct me, or
I hadn't really noticed. Your English is fantastic.
All right, good, thanks. It's just when you play, you want to say something specific, right? The other day we were playing a game, and I was struggling to find the word from in a gym, like on a weight. I later found out it was called dumbbell, but I had no idea. Like I was just finding that specific word, and it was so hard, and I got like all paralyzed.
Your native language is German?
No, Swedish.
Swedish? Oh, Swedish. So I would actually say that it's Star Wars. Say it in Swedish. I mean, it would sound cool.
Oh yeah, all right. Yeah, that will probably work. Yeah, we can probably make the Weequay language a little bit more Swedish, maybe. I'm not sure.
Lucas does that in the movies all the time. There's one of the characters who speaks Portuguese through the whole thing and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah,
maybe that could be a good idea. Yeah, I'll try to remember that. What about you? How long have you been playing the Hangouts game with the Gauntlet? And
I've been playing in Hangouts for a while. I think one of my first games was with Yoshi and Rich years ago. And I play off and on. I know that there's a lot of people who seem to play all the time during the week and stuff like that. But usually I play on the weekends. Saturday morning is good for me. So yeah. And I've been trying to, I'm not sure what the right word is, pimp the gauntlet, push the gauntlet on people. Like just yesterday, I had some friends ask, where's a good gaming group? And I was like, you should play on the Gauntlet. I'm telling you. Yeah. I think whenever I tell them, oh, it's a podcast with this online component, they're like, well, that sounds a little weird, and it might be there might be too much to it. It seems overwhelming a little bit. But yeah, it's good. I like the Gauntlet quite a bit.
I've been promoting the Gauntlet as well to my friends here, but mostly people tend to like to play face to face. But they haven't, on the other hand, really been watching the actual plays and the series on YouTube, because they really expand on the idea of playing online. Like, this isn't the stereotype of online playing. To me, it's really convenient in so many ways. So people just tried it out. I guess they would probably fall for it, because I've been thinking about for 6 months to get into it, but I haven't really dared, to be honest, because of the language thing. So, but I guess it's only to just have to start, throw yourself out into it, and just get going, and things will probably solve.
I'm gonna, one of the things that I like about the Gauntlet is it's been going on long enough that they've developed almost they've developed techniques and a way of engaging with online gaming that really takes advantage of the media, that makes it an asset. Because normally you play online because you can't play face-to-face because of time or location or whatever. Exactly. But when they've turned it into what it is now, you have the Google Drive full of things, you've got the rolling rooms, you've got the occasional Roll20, you've got how things are set up. So basically the computer ends up not being something that's an accommodation, but central to the way that it works, so that we all have access to everybody's character sheet, to the basic moves, and the kind of games we play tend to be rules light, so you can read the rules in a relatively short amount of time. And yeah, there's, as a person who only speaks English, I am utterly aware of my privilege in being part of the Gauntlet that primarily uses that. But I love how many people I've gotten to play with from other countries as a result of this, because I always, honestly, it blows my mind to get a peek into it, to have people come in here, to realize that it can be 9 a.m. here and then midnight somewhere else, and it is amazing to get a chance to have those social experiences that frankly could not happen in any other way.
True. It's really cool.
Can you tell I'm a professor in real life? Because I just dropped into a lecture without thinking about it.
So, Christian, what time is it there?
It's late afternoon. It's 4:30. So I guess it's all morning for you people, right?
Poor Yoshi. He's on the West Coast, so it's like, I think we started at 6 a.m. for him.
Yep.
Really?
Oh.
Yoshi. Had some coffee.
Let's see, guys. You are just that much of a draw for Yoshi.
I love Yoshi. I love playing with Yoshi. It is always amazing.
I love being here, and I love playing with everybody. It's awesome.
Yay!
Cool. But you guys are all from US? Is that correct?
Everybody else from US.
This group, yeah.
Got Texas, Cali,
Ohio,
Florida,
Illinois.
You guys, we pick up with a maglev train barreling around a curve. And as we pull back, you see that this maglev train is heading through the Barrens. So the Barrens is a particular area where in Nar Shaddaa, there is a significant number of corporations that actually have research labs here because, in the core worlds, it's like they're like laws and regulations about particular types of experiments that you can run. And so in order to make really amazing and profitable discoveries, a lot of the research labs are located on Nar Shaddaa. The Barrens was a research kind of like the research triangle in America and in North Carolina about 5 cycles ago. But then one particular experiment went really, really bad, and the whole place was evacuated. And now there's just like these skeletons, like skeletal fingers of the huge buildings, right? And there's still the maglev railway that runs through. And so this is the perfect spot for an ambush, which you guys are about to partake in. This maglev train is transporting, like, if you have really good stuff, you're going to use speeders or you'll send it up to orbit, but bulk transport still happens through the maglev railway. A very low-level member of the syndicate, a hut by the name of, I had the name, let me grab it again, a hut by the name of Tagta Borvo. His gang, as it were, they're industrial. They have a lot of industrial contracts, very union oriented. And so Tagta has been around for over a century. And his youngest cousin, who's mostly a Karkup, is in charge of this particular shipment, right? This is the lowest priority thing that could have been given to little Balbu. Balbu's a dick, by the way. Balbu was on the train, mostly because Tagta said, you have to go on the train. So the stuff, which is mostly mechanical parts, resupplies, factory reestablishments, robotics, and the like. Not going to move very easily. Balbu is a little tech user, considers itself like the epitome of style. Balbu has at least 20,000 credits worth of just stuff on him. So you could grab maybe one of the cars off of this train, turn it around, pull a little bit of money, or you guys can grab Balbu, strip him down, sell that stuff off, make at least 30K. So that is what is going on here as you guys are, I imagine, on your swooper bikes. Now, is everyone on a swoop bike, or has someone already gotten on the train? Anyone want to start off on the train? It's okay if you don't.
If we could have a second.
Go for it.
Is there anyone who is not keen on grabbing Balbu? Sweet. Okay, so that we're on the same.
Yeah.
All right, just wanted to make sure we were all on.
We have like the shadowy overlay of you guys at the slag pit, and you're having that quick conversation.
I like the idea that Scrap is actually already on the train. I think that he's kind of grabbed underneath the train. He's been tinkering around with some of the scrap that's already on, some of the mechanical stuff in the back, and hiding from the guards.
Yep.
Like preparing our boarding, or like
maybe it depends on how things work out. But maybe I can help you. An arm swings over and helps out or something. We'll see.
So the maglev train actually doesn't have its own security force. It is Balbu's men. It's Tagta's folks, right? Tagta Borvo has, again, he sent a contingent of his thugs. I'm gonna say that they're all a mix of Gamorreans and Deveronians. So Gamorreans are the orky pig dudes, and Deveronians are the devil-looking guys with the really, really sharp teeth. So mostly Gamorreans and Deveronians. There are, you have spotted, Scrap, at least a half dozen. They're milling about. The train itself, primarily just a freight train. So there are crates and crates and crates worth of parts and gewgaws and pieces and parts, and so I keep saying parts over and over. Huge arms and carapaces for droids, and you could live here and do quite well, except for the whole food thing.
Yeah.
But you're here, Scrap.
I think at some point you see Scrap kind of doing the snow angel thing in the parts.
That is,
yeah.
That is
so, yeah. So I think Ace's idea is, why not take gun in the swoop and go in for the engine?
Agree.
Scrap, we're heading in. Are you in position?
And you get some garbled answer back that means probably.
Well, you better hold on to something. We will be boarding shortly.
Cool. So, Voom is zipped by a couple of the buildings that were kind of reduced to almost like a char from the explosion. And we see Weasel. You have your own swoop. So, Weasel, tell us a little bit, like, what does it look like when we see Weasel for the first time? Like, Weasel's on his bike.
Yep.
How does it sound? Like, what does it sound? Is it like a deep throat, like whoa, 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 or is it like a high whine? It means it goes super fast.
Asymmetric sound, like it's wobbling in and goes back and forth. And it comes down from a dust cloud from the from behind one of those skeletal fingers and swoops, makes a deep dive and comes back from beneath the train from the underside, flipping on his magnet grip arms on the side of the swoop so he can dock to the train, and lies low with his red glasses behind his steering. What do you call it? Steering? Yeah,
handlebars.
Oh, yeah, steering. Yeah. Okay, cool. So you're lying low and you're trying to pop the magnets so you can board onto the train. Awesome. So let's cut over to Preacher. What is it that we see when Preacher when she first comes into focus? What's her swoop like and her approach?
So her swoop is kind of like a shiny, well-polished swoop. She keeps it in good repair, and I think that's a lot of help with scrap, of just making sure that it's working well. So like when you hear it, it's kind of like a middling tone, but it's like almost perfectly even, and like maybe you hear like it like oscillate just a little bit, and like you can see her just like twinge a little bit, that it's not like perfectly like an even tone as it's going there. That's like what she's got is, and so it's very pristine looking. And so like when she's like pulling up to the train, you can see she takes a little bit of time to not just like run right into the train, but like get up close and like be careful about it.
Nice. Is she playing on like parking, kind of like how yeah, like Slave One, like or William Falcon like magnetized on. Curious, does she wear like helmet, face mask kind of thing, or is?
Yeah. I think she understands that there's a lot of danger in this thing, and so she's got a helmet and a face mask that comes over it. And like I think despite the fact that like the whole planet as a whole is too hot, she still has enough like clothing and armor to like body protection like type thing on her to like elbow pads and things like that were things to go wrong. She's got some protection along those lines.
Nice. Okay, so you're also going to be, are we seeing like Preacher and Weasel are both coming up and magnetizing to the same train, maybe the same car on the train?
Yeah. That sounds
sweet,
awesome.
Sweet. All right, so we know where Scrap is, so let's check in with Buzz and Ace. Say the two of you guys are riding together. Where do we find Buzz, since you're the papa of the group? Where are you and Ace right now?
I like to think we're coming from the opposite direction then. We're kind of going towards the train head on.
That's awesome. Okay.
For Buzz, like his swoop is like it would kind of be like the equivalent of like an old school chopper if you saw it like in a motorcycle gang or whatever. Like this is like a classic model, like an Indian would be. So this is that equivalent. But if you look closely, you can see, some of like, oh, those holoflectors are like new issue or something like that. I think the sound is like a very particular rhythm. It's like a doom, 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 doom. Like there's something about it that's very rhythmic. But otherwise, it looks a little kind of beat down, a little rusty, but in very good condition. And I think Buzz like has like his cloak like flapping behind him. And I think we kind of maybe go under like some steel girders, some Durasteel girders or something, because we're like kind of swooping through some of these ruins, and like there's like a bar that comes very close to like take it off the top of my head and Ace's head, and maybe Ace like ducks out of the way, but Buzz just kind of stands there. Just a very
nice,
no flinching. Yep.
And what about Ace? What do we see with Ace when we bring into focus?
So, first of all, Ace's swoop is interesting in that he appears to have welded it together from several different swoops. So it would never pass inspection on any other world. But he's done the same thing as with the guns. Someone doesn't stand up for their stuff, he takes it and incorporates it in. So he's got this mishmash hog, because where other people want precision and cleanliness, he doesn't care. He wants people to know he's there. So it makes a big chug, 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 chug sound. And he's riding low on it. He's got, because of all the dust, he's got basically a kerchief pulled up over his face and wearing goggles. Underneath it, he's grinning wildly. And we'll say it's one of those kerchiefs that has a big grin painted on it, because why the hell not? It'll be specifically designed to look like crate teeth. So yes, he's got a crate's teeth kerchief pulled up over top. And as they're pulling up, he's actually guiding the swoop with his knees for a moment, because he's reaching back and getting ready to pull his blasters. Just to start surprising the hell out of the pilot of the mag train.
Nice. I love it.
Ace, I thought I told you 10 and 2. 10 and 2.
We're going to cut back to, now we know where everybody's position. We're going to cut back to our two gangers who are trying to magnetize themselves onto the side of the train. I'm going to say that is on a moving maglev train, matching the speed and the like. I'm going to start off, it is not impossible, right? We're going to call it a normal difficulty. You need 2 aces or 2 successes. I'm going to start off by asking Weasel. We picked up with Weasels. Weasel, as you kind of low and you're leaning in against the handlebars and coming in, I want you to get 2 successes. So let's build our first die roll in the game. You're definitely using your hog, which is your bike. And let's see, this is definitely going to be a badass action, because there's danger here. That means that what I see is your Be Badass is a 3 and your hog is a 3. Holy crap, you are rolling 6 dice. Now, you don't have to just roll 6, Christian. You can, if you choose, spend karks. Oh, you are muted, by the way, Christian.
Sorry, I never rolled the karks. I just realized.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and roll a quick d6 right now, and we'll add 6 to that.
Reroll selected. Yeah, let's see. Hold on. Did that come out? No, it didn't. Sorry for that. 1d6 reroll. No, it doesn't work.
I see a 4.
Yeah, but nothing happens when I press. That's the old roll.
Are you hitting submit, or are you clicking on it until it highlights orange and hitting reroll selected?
Yeah, I'm gonna remove that and make another one. Sorry.
Okay, that's weird.
Okay.
Maybe there's a 12% chance of getting a 4 every time. Who knows?
And then submit. Okay.
Got a 5. All right. You are quite carcinated. You've got 11.
Okay, so how many successes? How many shibs do I need? Was it shibs?
No, shibs are the bad ones. So pucker factor is in effect, which means if you roll any 1s, it will remove karks. Something went slightly wrong. You need 2 success, 2 even numbers. You're rolling a total of 6. You may spend karks if you wish, but only needing 2 successes, I think you're okay to just roll a 6.
So, Rich, how does helping work in this system?
Great question. So if you give a kark about somebody, then you can kick 1 to them. So you can spend 1 of your effective hit points, and it will give them an extra 6-sided die for every one of those that you spend.
Okay, so it's before the roll.
It can be after.
Okay. I think I'm going to manage with... Do I need 2 identical evens? Yeah?
No, any evens. So 2, 4, or 6 is good.
All right.
You need 2 total of them. Great question, though.
Okay. So I managed quite good there. 2 2s, but I had 1 chip as well.
Let me refresh. There we go. Well, yeah. All right. So you have 1-1. So you lose 1 kark. Effectively, like lose a hit point.
Okay.
But you succeed. So I'm going to say that you You pull the magnet, like you magnetize on everything, and as you do, you're going around a corner, and then there is just a piece of building that you end up scraping up against. And you have enough shoulder pad or jacket or your hood, but it pulls a little bit at that scarf there, and it's definitely enough to scare the living hell out of you. So that is what happens, and you're able to pull yourself up on top of the train. Did you want to drop in, or are you going to run along the cars on the top?
I'm gonna find a ventilation opening somewhere and try to pry it open to get in.
Okay. Awesome. So that's your intent. Let's go to skip over to Preacher, and same roll for you. Let's go ahead and build it. Being badass and hog.
I got 5 dice.
Yeah, you do.
I think I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't need to boost that. So we'll see how that goes. Ooh, I got 3 successes, but I also got 1 failure. 1-1.
Sweet. So I'll kick it to you because I'm afraid I'll repeat myself. What is it that? How is it that something goes just slightly wrong as you're getting yourself up and on? It can be something that was just a close call, or you did take a little bit of damage.
So I think what it is as I'm getting up close and I'm about to dock with like onto the side of the maglev, I think there's a bit of like debris or something that fell from the building or something like that that's really close to the rail and that I wasn't expecting there, and I had to dodge quickly out of it. But when I came back to like I overcorrected coming back into the maglev, and so like I scraped the side of my bike against the maglev, and so now like there's just like the side of it, like one side is all shiny and orange, and on the other side like there's paint scraps, and like I'm just gonna have to spend some time and fix this up later. But like right now, like I'm going to get onto this train, and I'm sorry for whoever I see first because I'm upset.
Nice. So the two of you meet up on top of the train, and you're able to find an access point, drop down, and get inside the train. You can start moving through. Like there's a central corridor, and then everything else is like some of the cars. It's almost open like a coal bin type thing with just a bunch of parts thrown in it, and one little Jawa doing snow angels, and then others they're just crates that are perfectly symmetrically aligned. So we'll have you guys walking through there. We're going to skip to the front of the train. Oh, by the way, Scrap, you knew where they were trying to attach in the car. Were you trying to get there, or are you trying to stay near the front where you know that Buzz and Ace are coming?
I think that actually we planned this car was the one where we were going to attach to. So where they came in through the top, that was where I loosened the little ventilation shaft so they could drop right in. And I think the 3 of us are kind of in formation walking towards the front now.
Oh, that's awesome. That's perfect. That's perfect. Okay.
Blinking a little bit.
I love it. So Scrap, you know that 2 cars ahead, there are a pair of Deveronians who have blaster carbines, like the blaster rifles, and you've had an eye on them. You know that they are there. Okay, so we'll skip ahead to the front with Buzz and Ace. You guys are going to play chicken with the train's engineer here. Was that the plan?
I think we're a visible distraction, and in that sense, what Ace is doing is like, got it, 10, and he holds up the gun at 10 and 2, and just starts unloading towards the cab, especially trying to basically blind the engineer with blasts and draw attention.
Awesome. Doing that while going at a high rate of speed directly at the train, I think that's hard.
I'll buy that.
Right? All right. Awesome. So let's go ahead and build that pool. I think you're being badass. This is definitely not cool.
Yeah. I was going to go with badass and tools.
I'm good with that.
And given half a chance, I will use my my expertise on that one.
Great. So you're bringing in another thing. Expertises allow you to have another D6 to add to a roll.
Yep.
And I think you murder? Are you looking at killing this guy?
See, that's an interesting question because assault, as written, is pretty clearly hand to hand, and murder is the only equivalent that they have for range. So it's not exactly that I'm trying to kill the guy,
Mhm.
and I'm not robbery,
But you might
and
be
I'm not smuggling.
using. Is this extortion?
You know what's funny is using threats as extortion. So I would be more comfortable with you. Here's the deal: you use murder and you get enough successes, that guy's dead.
That guy's dead. Yeah, I think that I'm happy to use extortion because it is pretty clearly using the threat of violence.
I like
to
it.
draw them
Let's
in.
do that.
All right.
And I'll throw Kark his way too.
Oh, sweet.
Nice. Cool. So
All
then
right.
Buzz marks that off of his total, and that gives you another D6. So you rolling 7 against a difficulty of hard, which is 3.
I would, in fact, be rolling 8 because I have my expertise. I have 3 dice in badass, 3 dice in tools, and then the extra card gives me
Absolutely.
8.
You're right. Your math defeats mine. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, is still true.
All right. So let's try that out and see. Did anything come up? Oh, there it goes.
1, 2,
4.
3, 4, and
two nasty
ones.
little ones.
Yeah, I think I'm sorry I didn't declare it ahead of time, but I think we can agree that the pucker factor, like, this is dangerous enough to where that's in effect. Are we good with that?
Yeah, I think we could call that.
Sweet. So you sight down and fire directly at this guy. He's wearing like the blue cap with a little golden insignia for the maglev train, and he's got double-breasted, kind of fancy-looking coat, and he just soiled himself because you start firing and poof, poof, poof. There's a couple of like blaster shots because the maglev train is made to where there's some shielding on the front, but he doesn't know, like, yeah, the shielding, that's all well and good, but this guy's still firing. So he ducks down, and you hear the brakes start to kick in, and sparks shoot up all along the sides, and maybe there's some like a rain of sparks, and a couple of them like land on Preacher's her ride a little bit. Not we'll come back to that. And we cut to the 3 that are moving through from train to train. You just kind of move from one train to another, so you're open air, and you can hear the sound of it, and it started to wobble, 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 as the maglev train is trying to brake, and it's going, hundreds of miles per hour, and it could be kilometers, it could be hundreds of kilometers. I don't care. It's just hundreds of them an hour. And he ducks out of the way, and I'm going to say that you kind of you skip off of the maglev a little bit, and it throws your, I can't remember what they're called, but like the things in the front that kind of help throw the direction. It throws you off a little bit, and you don't get unseated from your swoop because you're actually good at your stuff, but it's enough to throw you off and throw you a little bit off balance, and that's how I explain the loss of 2 karks.
Sounds right.
Good. So brakes are coming on. You know that there's definitely an alert that's going on, and this is a thing where you guys aren't subtle, which is lovely. I love that.
I figure that, like I said, part of the point of this was to blind. So while I'm doing this, I end up falling back while Buzz goes forward, so that we're no longer side by side.
Buzz, what are you doing?
Well, I mostly came up with this plan because I thought it would look cool. I didn't think about functionality. But I'm thinking now that it's time for us to take control of the cockpit. So I think, like, as the train is starting to kind of screech and slow down, I kind of the speeds are getting to a way where I can come up and do like a J turn basically, and like kind of screech and try to catch up to the train and be facing the front now. And I want to dock on top of the front car where the conductor is, so that I can break in there and take control of the cockpit.
That sounds amazing. I love this idea. I'm going to say that this is kind of karking hard. So you're going to need 4 successes.
I'm totally kicking a kark towards this because I do give a kark.
So much kark.
This sounds like hog, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool or badass?
So the description of be cool is it's more relaxed. It isn't dangerous stuff. So I think that it's got to be badass. Sorry.
Okay. So I am only at a 4. So I'm going to spend some of my own karks here. How many can I spend for myself? 2 is the total?
As many as you want.
Oh, okay. So I need 4.
Just be advised that the pucker factor is in effect. So if you spend a lot of karks and then you roll a lot of 1s, you could drain out and something bad's going to happen.
Well,
Do we see each other? Can I give a kark?
sure.
That works.
For
Yeah.
sure.
I think we can give karks without actually seeing each other. As I recall the system.
Okay.
But
You can. I like a little bit of fictional justification.
Yeah.
We could also flash back to something that advice you gave or something that you said. Like, I'd love to have a connection to understand what it is that Weasel did for Buzz to help out in this moment.
Yeah.
That was harder. I was thinking maybe if we saw each other and like, oh my god, that's going bad. You know, like you shout, hey, watch out for that bar or something, or you know, like.
But yeah, maybe you like stick your head along the side with all the brakes going on. You can call ahead. I like it. I prefer that over just a generic throwing kark. So do it. Go ahead and some point.
I will also toss in a kark. And what you see is this little flashback of Scrap going up to the front and unhitching. You're going in a door? Is that what you're doing? Unhitching the little lock to the door.
Perfect. So. Okay, cool. This is starting to be feasible.
How many dice do you have so far?
I think that brought me to 6.
And you need to get 3?
4.
4. I'll toss you a kark as well. And so how we see this from Preacher is she's up on the top of the maglev and like lying down with her sniper rifle and like just like laying down and looking, and you see somebody like pop their head out to like shoot at the person who's going out there, and they just get tagged in the back from the rifle because I'm from the back of the train. And then like you see like another person like look their head back to like see like where that other shot was coming from, and nobody else is like peeking out on the side of your train as I've got you the cover for you.
That's family for you. All right, man. Cool. So I'll throw in 2 of my own, which will bring me to a total of 9.
Good chances now. You got good odds. You can do it.
Come on, let's go. Let me refresh the room. It's not quite Shadowrun dice, but it's still quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and no assholes.
What? That is no ships at all. That is okay. Fine. All of everyone's help is just what pulls you through. Yeah. You magnetize yourself to the side. The hatch opens up for you easier than you could have expected. You drop in. You get the drop on the Gamorrean who is there with the pilot. What is it that you do to him, Buzz? Like, you've gotten him. What did you do?
Just straight up blaster him right in the stomach.
Nice. He falls to the ground. His corpulent body wiggles for a moment, and then he is still.
Not on stun. This is 1%er.
Straight. Sweet. So you have taken possession of, like, you can stop this train. You can pick it back up. Whatever you want to do. What are you doing, Buzz?
Okay, so I think it'd be really cool if we have set up if Scrap has like built a bootleg like ramp and like mag rail. So if we direct the train in a certain way, we can basically hop the tracks and get onto our own rogue track. It's not very far, but it gets us to like a place where we can kind of hide the train and
Like maybe this is an
scrap it.
unused rail that, isn't
That
really
probably
in
would be a little bit
repair.
more feasible. We built our
But
own.
basically, this is a way that we can just jump the track and get on this unused track.
That
Right.
sounds amazing. I love it. So you are basically, the maglev is supposed to curve left. You're going to curve right, head for a roundabout that is in disuse and disrepair that you guys have set up for this. That sounds amazing. Let's see how well you pull it off. You're being cool, of all things, because right now you've taken out your threat. Ace, have you boarded the train? Or are you just kind of watching up above and staying on your bike?
I'm boarding and guarding Buzz at this point because we don't want them to take it back over again. So that's...
did you shoot the pilot, by the way?
Oh, hell. I mean, it's 1%er, but I'm not inclined to shoot just the fancy duds pilot.
That's fine.
I'm more inclined for us just to leave him naked and take all of his fancy duds. So we'll stun him and tie him up.
Sounds amazing. I like that. Good answer. Sweet. So you've stunned the engineer. He's laying on the ground near a dead Gamorrean, rethinking his work-life balance. And Buzz, you're going to try to divert the train. That sounds amazing. We're going to cut back to our three who are moving up the corridors. You know those two Devronians are in the next car. What is the plan here? Scrap, did you set anything up here?
I didn't actually. I think that the plan is whenever Buzz and Ace attack head on, we're going to use that as a distraction. So we're kind of planning, and maybe we get up to the door, but we don't go in until the two of them start running towards the front to see what's going on.
Okay, cool. You guys can time that. So everything's kind of wobbling back and forth. There was that initial jolt that threw everyone forward. Now the long, high-pitched sound of the brakes being applied as the maglev, the bolts are kind of holding on to the rail and trying to create enough friction to stop safely, trying to keep from derailing, because that would be the worst. And if you guys roll a failure, it's a possibility. Three of you, Weasel and Preacher, followed by Scrap, charge in to find the two Devronians. Have one of them just open up the door, which means that their hands are not on the carbine and aiming back at you. And then the one behind was headed that way as well. But you guys make some kind of noise, and he turns back and screams and turns and starts to fire at you. Preacher, what do you do?
So I think maybe I'm on the other side of them. So like, how if Scrap and Weasel are going in like the back door, since I was up on top of the carts before, like I'm dropping down on the other side. So like they open the door and then maybe there's firing. I'm going to like reach in from the other side. So like we're on both sides of them and just like grab the guy by the back of the shirt and just like toss him off the trail, because in between the two carts, like the little space in between them, just like pull him in and throw him overboard.
That is amazing, and that is definitely going to be murder or assault. Yep. It's going to be at least one of them. You are being badass, and I think you're using your hands here, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to say that's just pulling all of this off is... I'm going to call it hard. I think that's fair. Just because you've got the drop on him, it would be much harder, but you do have the drop on him. He didn't. You used your scenery to your advantage. So you need 3 successes.
Sweet. I have 7 dice because I've got 3 badass, 3 in hands, and I also have murder as my expertise.
And lovely.
And so I think I'm going to toss myself another... another single one, and so I'll bring myself up to 8 dice.
Okay.
All right, so let's see. Let's add that. Oh, that's an awesome 3 there already. I only need 1 more on that.
Oh, look at
yeah.
those 2 1s.
1, 2,
I mean,
3, 4, 5. I got 6 successes though, so
wow. That
2 1s, but 6 successes.
So here's what happens. You reach in, you grab that guy, toss him. He does a Wilhelm scream, goes end over end and falls until like we don't even see him hit. Because even breaks going, the maglev train's still traveling.
Can we maybe see him bounce off of my speeder bike that's maglev to the side?
Sure.
And like I just like, oh no.
Yeah, you've got like this kick-ass mirror. He like broke the mirror off.
Broke the mirror off.
Yes. So he like boom bounces off that, and then he goes flying off into the we'll say like into the smog. The other Deveronian saw this and he fires and he hits you, and that's how you lose your two karks. So he fires on you, and then he swings back around to aim at you, Weasel and Scrap. Who shoots at him? Weasel, Scrap?
I'm actually, sorry. Scrap, do you want to start?
No, go ahead, please.
Yeah. All right. So in front of me, there's some badly stacked crates. So at the same time, I'm advancing with my blaster and throws off a few shots. I'm like kicking this stack of crates in his direction. So things just falls his way, mixed up with blaster shots. So sort of everything comes down his way, and yeah, I'm just trashing the place with vandalism.
Sure, I love it. All right. So you're using that as a distraction to give you a bit of an advantage. So let's go ahead and throw in that expertise. You're definitely being badass because there's a lot of danger here. And you're shooting him. So I think you're using tools.
Tools?
Yeah.
5 as a base, and then I have vandalism. So
that's 6 total. Your difficulty is also hard. It would be more difficult, but he just fired off to hit your Chiss friend.
I put in a kark. I give a kark, and so that will bring me to 7, right?
Yes, and you're looking for evens. There's definitely a pucker factor in effect.
Okay, so 7. Let's see.
Wow, that's a good roll.
Yes, it is. Wow.
Wow. Wow. Look at all those 6s. Jeez and crackers. This were Shadowrun. I'm just saying. This were champions, and that was a damage roll. I'm just saying.
So for 6, is that correct? Yeah.
That's wicked. Okay, amazing. How did you take this guy out? What is it that happens to this Deveronian?
So my blaster shots just takes him right in the center of his chest at the same time, and of course the blaster shots are quicker than the falling crates, and the crates just bury him like backwards towards Preacher. So yeah.
Nice. So you do that. He gets crushed. You create so much of a mess. You guys are going to have to like take a ladder up and go up on top of the train. You're going to have to go around this car because you can't go through that unless you want to want to toss the thermal detonator. Go ahead. You do that. No?
Do we have thermal? All right. Yeah, let's put up some. Sure.
You're gonna blow up some of this train. You could blow up the car. It's up to you.
We are heading for Balbo, right?
Yes, you know the Bulba is somewhere in the middle between the front of the train where Buzz and Ace are and where you guys are. We'll say there are 4 cars in between the front and where you currently are.
So, all right, I'm a vandal, right? But I'm not. I don't want to trash. I don't want to destroy the whole train. So I'm gonna save up on the thermal detonators for a while.
Okay.
I would love to detonate them, but I'll just wait with that. So I'm advancing towards Preacher,
Okay.
How are you? Are you doing okay? Are you okay? Yeah.
I've been better. My Scrap, I'm gonna need a lot of help fixing my bike after this.
The bike.
I think Scrap kind of gives the thumbs up and then pops open a hatch and goes underneath the train, kind of crawling underneath to pop up in the next car.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, that's so cool. Because there's probably like not much clearance kind of thing, but you're just small enough to. Ah, that's wicked. I love that.
Yeah. Checking my blaster again, just to make sure it's working properly.
Awesome. We cut back to the front, and as you are working, Buzz, to start rerouting, you're basically, I don't know, do you imagine you have like a setup to blow a thing to kind of like in the railroad thing where it pops the rail over? Are you imagine that's how you guys have set this up?
I think there might have to be like a little bit of splicing involved.
Nice. I like that. I like some splicing. Cool. So
Slicing.
you like pull splicing. You think maybe you like pop open the console and you're starting to work on that? Is that?
Yeah, I think like Buzz's like hand comes out and like the digits all like separate into like a bunch of little tiny metal things, and he kind of just jams his hand in there. And these little 20 little
awesome.
digits are like
cool. The doors to this car open up. Ace, I'm guessing you've got this covered, but there are thugs coming through. What do you do, Ace?
I think. Wow, that was loud. So Ace smiles at them and goes, "Tickets, please," and then just starts blasting them.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Oh, I love it. Oh, that's so good. Dang. I'm gonna kick you an extra die for that one line. Just making my own rule right now. There you go. Sweet. So this is karking hard because Bulba is in the next car over, and he just sent all of his guys to take it. Like his people who were in his car right then and there. So there are 4 guys that are coming through. 3 Deveronians and a very strong-looking Gamorrean. The Gamorrean leads the way. He like busts down the door with his big axe, his big vibro axe, and he comes through just bellowing. Ah! And then you ask for his ticket, and he does not pause.
Fair enough. Well, so this time I am fine art of murdering people.
Yes, 100%. It is wise.
Yeah, so I'm starting with 7. I would like this to work, so I'll give a cart to myself. I am going to need to do some community service at the end of all this.
Indeed.
So 6 base pulls, 7 plus the one you gave me, 8 plus the one I just threw in is 9.
You're looking for 4 successes.
All right, let's hope for the best. Exactly 4 and another goddamn asshole.
Yes, I love you, Shebs. I love you so much.
But whatever, I got the 4 I needed.
Sweet. So most of your shots focus on the Gamorrean. It takes 4 shots to take him down. You are hit by a blaster bolt from one of the Deveronians. But you were able to drive them back. And so of the 4 that were coming through, you take down 2 of them, the Gamorrean and one of the Deveronians. The other 2 Deveronians, though, they cease moving forward. They don't die, but they're basically taking cover. And they're probably going to try to take pot shots at the 2 of you guys. So, yeah, that happens. Buzz, it is coming up. You know, you got the countdown on your HUD of how far away this curve is, and if you don't pull it off, you guys are going to zip on by, and you're going to have to come up with a whole new plan. So I'm going to say that doing this right is going to be hard. So you need 3 successes. Let's build this splicing roll for you, Buzz.
So I'm thinking this is cool.
I agree.
Using my tools. and splicing. So that should be a total of 7 right off the bat, which I'm pretty happy with.
So I think that Scrap tried to help set you up with this. So I give a Kark about this, so you can add one in from Scrap.
Yeah.
So basically, he doctored some stuff up, so the splicing is going to be a little bit better for you.
Yeah. I think maybe even some like hardware manipulation stuff too. So
love it.
Cool.
I want to see some dice hit the table. Let's see how this goes.
I will delete that one. Roll these. Total of 8.
Looking for 3 evens.
1, 2, 3,
so because
4.
it's cool, I'm saying the pucker factor is not in effect because it is a cool roll.
Then that is 4 successes.
Whew. So yeah, you chunk. The splicing works off. Is it slicing? I gotta look it up. I'm sorry. If it was slicing, not splicing, I apologize. I'll Googlefy it again. I'll just go watch it.
Splicing came to me so naturally. So maybe on Nar Shaddaa it's splicing.
No, I think actually I gave you splicing. It's the drop down I screwed up. I will fix it.
So I slice it successfully.
Good slicing. Maglev kicks over, starts heading towards the roundabout where you can store the train until you can move everything off of it. You've got 2 Deveronians that they don't have you pinned, but they're trying to kind of blockade. You can hear a voice, Ace. Take him down! Come on, take him down! It is the unmistakable voice of your target, Balbu. And so that's going on. Scrap, you make it to the next car. I'm going to say that you've moved to the car where Balbu is, right above you. What is it that you're doing, Scrap?
So I think what Scrap's going to do is he's going to pop up, open the little hatch, pop up. They don't expect people to come out of here. And
that's where the children work, underneath the train.
That's right. Whenever it's parked. So is he the only one in here? Is Bubo the only one in here?
Oh, cool. So yeah, you pop your head up and you're looking around with those little beady Jawa eyes glowing in your hood, and you see Balbu. Balbu's got the dope looking chain with all kinds of cool diamonds on it. He's got this huge rings on his fingers. He just really, really posh looking stuff with his he's got this nice looking silky scarf, and you were looking to see if he had anyone with him. He has his bona fide Yojimbo, who is an assassin droid, pretty ancient looking one, and it hasn't seen you yet, little Jawa.
Yeah,
you see that he has at his side. He has basically a force pike, half of a force pike, and he's also carrying a long blaster rifle, kind of like Dengar, like what Dengar had, the longest. If you guys had the action figure, if you didn't, I'm sorry. It was awesome. So yeah, he's got a Dengar styled blaster rifle, and he's just scanning around. I'm kind of imagining, because an assassin droid, he's got a little bit of those IG-88 protruding eyes.
So I think that basically you see the little glowing eyes pop up from the floor, look around, spots the assassin droid, and that's when I think Scrap's going to pop out of the trap door in the floor and shoot the assassin droid with his ionizer.
Oh yes, that's perfect. You are built for this, crazy
right.
Jawa. Guess what? This is karking ridiculous, sir. You need 5 successes to get the drop on an assassin droid.
Okay.
However, I would imagine that a lot of people can help you. You do see the 2 Deveronis that are in the interspace between the 2 cars. They're trying to get into the front of the train. They're not going to be able to interact with you because they're not keeping their eyes here. this assassin droid has everything covered, he said.
Okay. So that would be badass, right?
Mhm.
And then tools. This is probably, I think this is probably robbery. Do you think? Because we're trying to rob Balbu. Okay.
I think for this current action, I'm gonna say you're not really trying to rob this assassin droid.
That's fine. Oh, that's true. I'm not trying to rob the assassin droid. And I'll give a couple of karks. Oh, wait. I have to roll a 5?
You need 5 total successes.
Okay. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. So I will I'll give a couple of karks.
You're going to get quite a few karks, I imagine.
Okay.
I think Buzz will send you one, and this is reflected by Buzz sharing his databases with you before on the makeups of different droids. So you have a familiarity with this model, where you should aim your ionizer to hit the correct circuit board cluster, that's going to really take him out.
Okay. Nice.
Weasel gives one as well. I haven't come up with a rationale for it though, but
But you are right behind him, so you could physically like distract the assassin droid if you want.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna come up with an approach for that.
So I'm at 8. And let me get this in. Let's see how that rolls. One, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Wow, dude. I can't believe it.
2 1s, though.
Yes, indeed, 2 1s.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, so here's what happens. You fire the ionizer at him right as Weasel pops in to give you to distract the assassin droid. He falls, and he is taller than you anticipated. So I'm going to say that you have to kind of roll out of the way, and he actually lands on your leg, and you're not stuck. But that's how you take 2 karks worth of damage.
Okay.
Big guy falling on you.
Yeah.
Cool. So Balbu has 2 Deveronians and himself. He did not appear to be carrying any weapons. We haven't heard from Preacher for a while. What the heck are you up to, Preacher?
I think I'm following. I've dropped back behind Weasel, so like as Weasel like goes in, I'm behind Weasel because I have my gun already like up and ready to shoot at it. Like as the door gets open, so as soon as it's the view is clear, I'm just gonna lay in a couple of shots at the Deveronians to get them to drop and no longer be a threat.
Awesome. They are distracted, so I'm going to say that this is a normal roll.
Sweet. So I've got a 3 in badass. I've got a 2 in tools, so that's 5. And so normal is 2.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think I'm just going to leave it at that.
Pucker factor still in effect. They could turn around and fire at you.
Are none of your expertises coming into play there?
Oh, no, I am definitely in the fine art of murdering. So
yes, good call.
We'll re-roll those ones. All right, so 1, 2,
no
3.
1s. Look at you.
No 1s. I like it. 3 successes, no 1s.
Sweet. 2 shots? What does it look like when you take out these 2 Deveronians who are focused on Ace and then just notice that their buddy is doing that weird joy?
I think it's 3 shots because I think it's 1. I hit one guy right away, like clean first shot, and then I like shoot at the second one, and like he just like heard the first shot and moved just a little bit, and like you hear me like just like twinge a bit, like fine, and I take a second shot to hit him after he adjusts.
Nice. Oh, are these blaster pistols a carbine? What is she?
I think it's like a rifle, like a carbine rifle.
Yeah, that's right, because she was down. That's right. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. I love it. Bam, Ace. you didn't get to take down those two Deveronis. They were still taking cover for like far too long. So how is it that you did a blaster bolt like shoot past you, Ace? Was it? How did you see that these guys have been taken out?
I actually think that there's a monitor for the train like in there, so I can actually see it on like the crappy like monitor that's in the front, because it's, even though it's Star Wars and Super Tech, for some reason all the visuals are like grainy and green and crappy. so like I can see it happen and smile, and then like I'll go ahead and grab the conductor's thing and be like, "This is your new captain speaking. If you look out the window, you will see that you are well prepared for your new career as a nerf herder. I would suggest immediately tossing all those pretty rings and clothes off your body and jumping out the train. Or we can rip them off of your corpse. Your choice."
Nice. And through the exterior with you talking over, like the maglev train is slowing down and is heading into the roundabout, right? And then you park and you've got Balpu. Do we see on screen you guys stripping him down, or is that a thing where we just kind of cut away with his terrified, big bulbous eyes?
I'm happy enough to end on his terrified face, honestly.
You guys, we can make a deal, and then we cut away to the slag pit.
I think we see in the scene, we see like, you know, Scrap with like a necklace around one of Balbu's old necklaces around his hood and all of that. Yeah.
I had an idea for community service, which is that you loaded the thing with droid parts. So I think later on we're going to just do free refurbishment of the old beaten up droids that are down on the bottom. Get some karks back.
Cool. Who is doing that? Like, tell me, like, that's a great scene. We don't have to, we'll kick into slag pit in a minute, but maybe we have an interstitial of you guys passing off and patching up some droids. So who's in on that?
So I think Scrap is going to be repairing droids, but I think someone will need to distract Scrap from, you know, not selling the droids later.
So in a world where droids will willingly allow a Jawa to work on them, that is a slim world. So I'm pretty sure Buzz has to act at least a little bit as an intermediary.
Yeah, I think Buzz is walking around too, and he has the assassin droid along with them. He's taken off their restraining bolt, and it's kind of walking around, showing them what we do, you know?
Oh, wow. That is insane. So the assassin droid's name is M5M. And
M5M?
M5M.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and go with basically an IG, one of the IG models. Or his look. So he's like that very skinny droid look to him. Yeah. And he's on NPCs and places. Row 8 is M5M.
Just in terms of practicality, I'd love it if we were all involved in this endeavor one way or the other, so we can just get some karks back all together. But
sure, I hear you. I just wanted to, if somebody felt like that wasn't their thing, I didn't want to force them to do it. But everybody good with participating in?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I was gonna say it'd be cool to have Weasel and Preacher having their own scene too, if
Oh yeah,
I mean, you guys can not, like Weasel and Preacher, you guys could be doing your own separate thing if you want.
So the other thing I was thinking of is if there were all of these bodyguards and we have their stuff, that maybe we're taking some of the like guns and things that the other bodyguards have and redistributing those to like some of the factory workers or things so that like they have like weapons and things when they need to.
Yeah.
They're like recruits for whenever one of you dies.
Yeah. We're building a small, not an army, but we are weaponizing potential foot soldiers.
Okay, cool. So let's name one of these people just so we can follow back up. Let's say that you worked with Mila Kale, and Mila is one of the. She's one of the
she may be like a
organizers,
union
right?
leader, right? Yeah.
Yeah, she's like a union leader.
Perfect.
Like from the real union. See, there's like an official union, an authorized union, but Tagta Borvo mostly runs it. But Mila has the like real workers' rights people.
Yeah.
And she's more than happy to get these weapons from you guys.
Yeah.
I also have a question for Preacher,
Mhm.
if you don't mind. What sort of process or equipment do I need to get rid of my slave implant in the neck? Do you have any cool ideas for that as a bounty hunter?
Yeah. So like, I think what it is it's definitely like attached to your nervous system, so that like you need surgery. But I think there's got to be like some other little like device or thing that you need to like deactivate it like during the surgery. So like you can't just get some random surgeon to do it. You need like this other little device to like declamp it from like your nervous system or your spine or whatever as it's there. So like there's this other little piece. Sometimes surgeons have it, but sometimes or like that are designed for this thing, but we might have to like jerry rig or makeshift one, or Scrap might have to build something for it.
Yeah, exactly. Scrap, do you have any input on that? Well, that could be. I mean, like if you find as a Java, if you found slaves with sort of slave implants, what would you deal with them in some way? Would you interact with them in some specific way? As
I think I found plenty of slave bodies that have this implant on it. Sure.
Yeah.
And I'm
no tricks. No tricks to deal with them.
It would be fine. Yeah.
All right. Okay. I just want to throw it out there. Okay. Good.
Cool. Maybe this conversation, you were like done with the factory thing. You guys are on your bikes. You got coming into the slag pit, and you have that brief conversation. You follow up with the festooned with lovely necklace Scrap there. Yeah, so that's great. Everybody who you all participated, so roll a d6. You get a d6 worth of karks back for your efforts. Go ahead and add those back up.
I got a 6.
I'm gonna wait half a bit while everyone else rolls, because otherwise it gets confusing.
It does get weird, like it bounces all around.
Ah. All right. One card back.
So Scrap, I love the idea of like when we're in the slag pit. I have like a picture of my bike that after like all the damage onto it, and we're like sitting together, and like maybe you're trying to convince me to put like some extra stuff. I'm like, no, I just want it the way it looked before. Like,
I like the idea that at least half of your maintenance, work that you have to do is keeping Scrap from putting extra stuff on or messing with it. Yeah.
That's great.
I also hey guys, did we find any ionizers sort of that we could mount on the bikes? Did you find any, like, not torpedoes, but from shorter range stuff? Like, no.
Let me look through the manifest.
I think Scrap walks up with like a tube. You don't know if it's right, but it's something.
All right. Okay. Let's look at that later. Yeah. Good.
I don't have that listed as
military equipment on the shipment, but you may have been able to scrap something off of, like build it, which is what Scrap was alluding to, or you could have maybe taken something from the guards for poor Balbo.
So So I think you were talking about the slag pit, and so Scrap has the necklace, and I think that Ace is wearing the engineer's coat, but it's like all open. And I like the idea that they're all got something that is from there.
The slag pit is a very open, like there's a bar that is circular. I don't imagine that it's one of the floating things just built in the style of the floating casinos. It's a lot of oranges. It's a little dim, and there is an entire like half moon style bar that people can belly up to. But then there are lots of like the U-shaped booths. And I'm kind of imagine you guys have a place that's kind of like your area where you often are there. What is, other than this is the place where often the crate's teeth can be found, what else is it about the slag pit that you guys have kind of made a mark? People know this is where to find the crate's teeth. Not everybody needs to answer, but first person who's got an idea, I think it would be kind of cool to know about.
I think we might have like the skull of a crate dragon, like mounted on a plaque, like up above our booth.
Love it. And
Unless
of course,
that's
it's like a baby. No one
huge.
talks about the fact that it's like a baby crate because they're so damn big. But
yeah. I also like the idea that this is sort of playing off like the Dragon's Hoard thing, is that every time we do a job, we bring like a little bit, but maybe it's not like recognizable of what it was from the job and like put it up there. So like there's just a pile of all these little doodads underneath the dragon skull. So like this could just be like a plate from like the control panel or something that just goes up and sits underneath it.
Like a small trophy.
Yeah. Small little trophies all underneath the dragon skull.
That's kind of like a recurring theme for our group. Yeah, I like it.
Sweet. So as the group of you are together talking over like the mission or chit-chatting, like Lorsi Vaktu, who is a Duros, she's the fixer that has reached out to you guys, talked to you about this particular shipment. She's the one who really wants to move the stuff. She saunters up, and I don't know, does she know, Buzz, that you're kind of the being in charge, or does she talk to Ace? I think Ace runs it.
She talks to Ace, I think. She's yeah, she doesn't understand our family dynamic, I don't think.
Cool. So she is a blue-skinned Duros. So she looks somewhat similar, like at a glance might look a little bit like a Chiss, except they have no hair on their bodies whatsoever. There's not a great deal of gender dimorphism. They have longer fingers, and Cad Bane was a Duros, in case you guys don't know what a Duros is, right, like off the top of your head. There's a picture of Lorsi Vuktu on the NPCs and Places at row 10. And she comes up, Ace. She runs fingers along the coat, like at the big fringe, on the shoulder pad there.
I like the coat.
Looking nice. I think I recognize this coat from a particular maglev train company. So,
yeah, we find all kinds of things out there.
She does have a blaster pistol that she carries in a holster at her side. She'll slide into a seat. She doesn't sit at the booth with you guys. She just pulls up a chair and slides in, so she's nearest to you, Ace. Have you given some thought to working with me? I'd really like to pick up that scrap, whatever you guys don't need.
Just so I'm clear, is there a reason for us not to just use her as a fixer to move the stuff out quickly?
If you think you can go out to some unknown and get a higher price, possibly. I mean, because she knows you, she's probably not. She's going to deal square, but she may not be the highest price.
Nope, I'm inclined to get the hot merchandise out of our hands super fast. So So Ace is like, you know, we have a few odds and ends that we could stand to see move, and you know us and we know you. And that's the dynamic that makes everything work. It's the real trust we've built here. That I trust you will not attempt to treat us like Kark. And you'll take this criff from us.
She slides her hand around your back of your neck and to the opposite shoulder, reaches a finger up to kind of brush over the top of your lips. Why would I criff with you in a bad way, Ace? Of course we can deal. She slides back and pulls a little data pad, drops it onto the table. She says, this is the manifest as I understand it. Mark off any items that you are not willing to move, and I have the prices itemized. We can make this quick and clean.
I think Scrap stands up in the booth because he's short and everything, and he stands up and he goes, plus we have, a train with several cars.
I'm sorry, little one, but that's useless to me.
You can't sell?
No.
Yeah, I think that one's a lost cause. So Ace is actually pretty good at this and at negotiating. So he's looking for the best deal, and honestly, that may just be a die roll, whatever it is.
Let's go to a deal here. Yeah, let's go to let's put a little die roll to it just for fun.
Okay.
See if she's. I will, because you've worked with her before. I'll go ahead and give you an expertise with this, effectively an expertise bonus, and it's cool. She's not too great at Ace. I'm sorry.
I would. Yeah, I'm not great at cool, but I have 3 jaw and I have smuggling.
All right.
So that would be. So 3 plus cool is 4, plus smuggling would be 5, plus the one that you said you would throw for knowing her.
Yeah.
All right,
I'll throw you one because I kind of take the data pad and I'm looking through the manifest and seeing if it matches up with what we have.
All right. So we will roll with 7. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and another. No, that's not my one. That's Weasel's one. Ah. At last, I didn't roll a 1.
What do you know?
Yeah. It took some time. Yeah, so 5 successes.
Awesome. Yes, she's able to secure a very good price for not only the itemized, but any of the jewelry that you took off of your help friend that you're willing to part with. And you guys can make enough to pay for all of the repairs to Preacher's. And yeah, you guys, if you want, you could even pay a little bit of look the other way money to the train security, because they've got some fixers, right? They take a little bit of egg on their face for having let this go. If you want to kick a little hush money their way, they'll not ever find you, and it'll just be a black mark on their overall record. But
so as a group, Ace is inclined to say screw him, and if they come, he'll take them down, because that's the kind of person he is.
I can calculate. We would have to offer a lot of credits to cover the cost of a whole train.
They can get the train back.
We can sell the train back to them.
That is unlikely. Look, if they think they can take us,
technically, Scrap, that is their property. I know that is a complicated idea. Well, I don't know about all of you, but I prefer the swoop to public transportation.
It's much more reliable.
If that is the case, because everyone performed adequately within mission parameters, the credit reserves are as follows, and it's just like down to like the single digits of like everybody gets the same amount, but it's like 37.391 credits or whatever. So
it's like half credits. That's great.
yeah.
Yep.
Cool. So as we kind of head near the end, I wanted to reserve some time for Roses and Thorns. I'd like to check in with Scrap, like after everybody settles up with your Duros contact here, your fixer. What is it that we see Scrap do? Like once you leave the slag pit, where do you go?
Oh, I think before we leave the slag pit, I think at some point, you know, you're panning around and we're talking to the Duros, and you see that suddenly the Duros' gun and Scrap's kind of playing with it, and in the holster where it was, there's the necklace that Scrap was wearing. And then I think Buzz probably reach over and, you know, takes the gun away from Scrap and puts it back and all of that. And I think as Scrap leaves the slag pit, you see him, he kind of has an area that he goes to that is kind of, I wouldn't say sewers, but it's kind of there's steam rising from a grate, and it's really hot under there. And I think he kind of has made this kind of like a tent kind of thing, like a domed tent kind of thing that he crawls into, and there's this whole, you know, all sorts of bits of little crap that you'd find on the street, gears and pieces, you know, debris and trash that he's kind of collected and put in there.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Does he have like a little hologram projector where he watches stuff, or what does he do there? Does he work on?
Yeah, I think I don't think he has a hologram projector or anything like that. I think he just has little pieces of stuff. And if he had a projector, it would probably get sold pretty quickly. But it's just, you know, fitting things together, and maybe he has half of an arm, you know, a robot arm or something like that he's piecing together, and an engine and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
That's really cool. What do his hands look like? So we get a chance to see his hands working. I'm really curious.
Yeah, so actually, they're wrapped up like they are kind of in the movies. They've got this black tape over them. But maybe you see the hood slide back a little bit as he leans forward, and you see kind of like some whiskers.
Neat. Yeah, I know, right? This is what I'm like. Slide, like I'll look at hands and then I'll work my way up to the face. Oh, that's really cool. Weasel, do you realize with this payout as you're looking over it, and maybe Preacher, you point this out to him, you could probably afford like a legitimate doctor procedure. Of course, legitimate doctors would run your idents, but you could maybe even afford a street doc.
Well, I want to have it. I want to have it properly done. So I have been going down the lower city from time to time to try to find a decent doctor that would do it without risking my life. So I mean, I have my gang, and we take care of each other. So I'm not so worried about getting caught, but I do want to get rid of it. So every now and then I've been down there trying to find just someone that would be enough. What do you say? That would give enough confidence for me to contact. But I haven't found anyone yet. But now when I have credits enough for it, I've been a little bit more considerate. So I'm saving up really, and I'm gonna find a good one. So I think I'm growing as a person a little bit with this, not being too desperate doing it. When I have the resources now, I'm been like, wow, this is really going to happen, and been doing some maybe a little bit more planning to do this properly. So I'm gonna save up the money, save it for a little bit later, and I'm gonna find a really good one. I've been stopping visiting the lower city. I'm gonna stop going down there now when I know I have some money to actually do this, and make sure I survive it at the same time. So
if you don't mind, Christian, I think it would be cool if we bring the game to the close, for the session to a close, with Weasel heading into a more kind of legitimate clinic And there's an Ithorian by the name of Wamwa,
Okay.
and Wamwa's going to be doing the procedure. Like, who would Weasel bring with the whole gang? Just Preacher? Oh, Buzz?
Yeah, I'd love if Preacher would come, but I mean, the whole gang would probably be at least involved in my worries about this surgery, because I really want to get rid of it, and I've been talking quite a lot about it the last few weeks. So ever since we got the credits, so maybe I'm gonna be in there for a few days while being sedated or put in a med bay or something like that.
Oh, you gotta end up in a Bacta tank. Like, it has to happen.
Maybe we have a party before we go there. So, like in the slag pit, we have a night out, a real bender, you know, like. And then in the morning when the sun rises through the clouds, and I take up with Preacher on my swoop bike to the platform where the med center is located, something like that. While the sun sets or rises, I go in there and.
Awesome.
And I kind of had this in mind. Like, you walk up to the med center, and Buzz is kind of standing there in front of the doors, and he presents like this cred chip, saying, "I have been saving up for your operation, Weasel. Happy birthday."
Birthday? Oh my God! And I give you an awkward hug, you know, like, you know, like this little plate in my face, and so, thanks. And I look back on the rest of the gang, and I glide in there when the doors are opening.
I love it. So yeah, we have that, and then we go to credit scenes. We have a little tag scene at the end with Scrap in there, working on a droid. Like, he didn't go with the rest of you guys. Maybe the invitation lost in the mail. Who knows? He's not there. And then he hears a little bit of movement, and then we see the barrel of a blaster pistol, and he's shot. We do see the rings of it being a stun. He's stunned, and someone reaches in and grabs him by his little cloak and pulls him out. And that will be the end of our first session of 1%er. I'd like to take about a 2-minute break, just a quick bio, and then if we can do Roses and Thorns, it's optional, but I love it because this is a craft, and also it's also a hack, so I want to get any feedback there about that. And so we'll think about Roses and Thorns, and we'll talk to you guys in about 2 minutes.
Word.
Darling? Förbereda det då. Jag har hackat upp lite grejer och så. Nej, men det blir 8 då, så att 2 timmar. Ja, men det är inget stress för min del. Jag bara kommer ut nu för nu ska vi ha lite avstämning bara och säga hej till varandra. Så, toppen.
So whenever I was looking through the Jawa information and everything, I Googled around and dropped a picture in the in the chat of what a Jawa, the idea of what a Jawa looks like unmasked.
Wow, that's scary and fascinating at the same time.
The idea is that they are a rodent race.
Yeah, I get that.
And that they actually they stink because they soak their robes in a rancid soup to prevent the heat from getting to them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really neat.
I don't know how much of that stuff is canon, but yeah, that's what I saw.
I love the eyes.
Oh, that's really cool. Thank you.
Mhm.
It makes sense to have the
Yeah.
hood.
That's just canon, but that's cool. All right. Everyone's back. Welcome back. We'll do our quick roses and thorns. Or well, I say quick, like quick. We start off with thorns. Thorns are something that maybe you like to see a little differently, didn't quite work for you, aspects of the game that left you confused, that you definitely want clarity on, something we could avoid next time. Again, I'm very open to this feedback and thankful for honest feedback. I think it is very helpful for me and helps me develop as a GM. So bring it. We'll start with Yoshi. Yoshi, what thorns did you have?
I actually don't know if I have any thorns. I really enjoyed 1%er the last time. I enjoy it this time. I think you saw the only comment I had about the what to call successes, and I think we're already past that. So I think I'm pretty good.
Cool. Me, and just to kind of step in, I felt like maybe I strung things out before we jumped in to do a thing a little on the long side. I would have liked for us to get into action a little bit faster. I maybe could have structured us and some of our conversation to facilitate that a little speedier. It was a thought that I had. Steven, what thorns did you have?
I had a little bit of a computer problem at the very beginning. So that was a little bit of a struggle for me. I should have known better. I should have rebooted before I started everything up. The only other thing I can think of was I had a little bit of trouble following some of the Star Wars terms. I know what poodoo is. I don't know what kark is.
Oh, I'm sorry. So
no, it's fine.
Kark is like it's an F word. It's basically a fuck substitute.
Yeah, that's what I assumed. And in 1%er, is that that's your hit points? That's how many Fs do I give?
Yeah, it's like I give a fuck about the person, so you spin the fuck. Yeah,
well, that's what I assumed, and that's what I saw in the curse word dictionary stuff. And I was like, well, that I don't know. Maybe that's shit. Maybe I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
No, that's good. I got on somebody just recently about using too much. Like they were referencing an anime that I had never seen, so it was like describing the color blue to a blind man. Like I don't get it, and I did the same thing. So I apologize. But yeah,
no
karks and criffing are both F word substitutes, and poodoo is it's crap. Any others, Steven?
No, huh?
Michael.
I'm sorry, Rich. I know you really like constructive feedback, but I don't have a single thorn for this session. So
okay, so my thorn is that Michael needs to be more critical.
You really sucked it up this time. No, it was great.
Awesome. Jason, what about you?
It's all right. I'll give you extra thorns. It'll be good.
Yes.
My chief thorn is that I can't be here next week. So I can't be there, and that sucks. Relatively minor thorn is that we developed all these interesting other characters and locations at the beginning, this rival gang, and then we didn't see them at all. So that's one thing. And I'd say the other relatively minor thing is that in basic 1%er, when we've played before, there are roles, president and VP, etc. I'm not sure if we need them or not, but the visible structure of chapters of gangs and then roles within the gang in 1%er felt kind of essential. Again, I don't know if we need it for this game, but I was aware of its absence.
Yeah, I get you, and I actually didn't lead us down the road to do that. Oh, Jason, you're saying you're not in next session?
Yeah, I thought I dropped out of it. Did I not?
Yeah, if you can unRSVP.
Sorry, I thought I already did that, but like I said, my computer's been a jerk.
And I'm not in the next session either.
You are not.
I
That
am
is why I shot you.
Yeah, good. Okay.
But you're in the third session, and Jason's not. Wait, do you just have one session, Jason? Is that all you made it to? No, you're in the fourth. Okay,
I
you're back.
should have been. Yeah, no, I have a busy semester, so
It's okay, man. That's why we play drop in, drop out play, and with a gang like this, it's totally all right. Awesome.
All right.
Any other thorns, Jason? You still have to make up for Michael.
I mean, I could make stuff up.
Don't make stuff up, Christian. Christian, what thorns did you have, sir?
Well, I must say I'm really blown away by how comfortable I feel playing with you here over Hangouts. This is my third time playing over Hangouts in total. So I've been listening to your podcast, and I've been looking watching loads of things on YouTube. But it's really nice to be here. So I'm just trying to take in so much as I can during this time, and trying to not let as I said before, my language come in between, create too much troubles for the communication and the story. So I can't give you any thorns. I'm sorry, Rich, but I really enjoy the structure, and I also like no, that's the roses. Yeah, okay, no, sorry, but
We'll stick with you. We'll let you kick off roses. So roses are things you enjoyed, that kind of stuff.
Okay,
so
I really enjoyed the presentation of the game. Like you did a lot of online presentation of the game. Your rule summary that you sent out was really nice. Gave me a good overview of the rules and how you wanted the game to play out. I also liked when we started today how you sort of set the structure for the session. Like you're gonna do this. We're gonna have a pause, and then we kick off. Yeah. So really, Rich, I had a really good time. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Christian, it's great to have you aboard. You need to, I know you're in
Thanks,
all of these sessions, but keep signing up, man. This is good stuff.
Yeah.
Jason, what rose? Oh, sorry, Christian. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, sorry. And thanks everyone else for being so friendly and letting me in. Super.
Oh, it's great having you.
Jason, what rose did you have?
Well, one rose is I just realized I will be here next time, just not the one after. So hooray!
Oh, good.
But I will tell you, there is a lot to love in this game. But my favorite thing, honestly, is the kind of reforged family that came out of character creation. Like I could watch a whole show about this, and I would prefer to watch it than to just a swoop gang, because they're just the whole narrative of who they are to me is amazing. And so awesome job to everybody.
Yeah.
So let's call listening. For real.
All right, Michael, what about you? You've got to make up for the lack of thorns now, sir.
Oh, with so many roses. Okay. Yeah, this has absolutely been one of my favorite sessions I've had online so far. Really, really awesome. From the very beginning, before we even started playing, Rich, I always really look up to the amount of preparation that you do in order to get everything kind of set up. I mean, you have the Galactic sheet behind you. You put the work into the spreadsheet. You put the work into the rule set to make it a little bit more Star Wars. You have all your tabs open. I saw when you screen share with all your images ready, and the NPCs and places are set up and the names are set up. And it's like, I knew that we were starting off like well supported. So that's always really, really awesome to see. Yeah, I mean, just everyone really coming together. I love that we started off the bat with people really asking each other questions about their characters, each other's characters. That was like lovely to see without needing any prompting. That was just something that people did. Really great play culture there. Really excited. Last time I played 1%er, played a bit of an outsider. So now coming into it with everyone really like connected together, it's a really cool experience and very Star Wars, but also like really one percenters. So it's been great, yeah. And everyone, like, from moment one, people were like really like understanding the dynamics of the game and the group, and like that initial big roll where Buzz did the crazy maneuver and everybody's like, oh, I give a kark, here's what I do. I was like, this is gonna be a great group, great dynamics. So it's gonna be a great series. I'm really looking forward to it. Super awesome.
Oh man, this is why I should do roses first. Guess he stole so many of mine. Steven, what roses did you have from the game?
I think that one percenter isn't really a motorcycle game isn't really my kind of thing. But when you slap Star Wars on it, I was like, okay, that sounds great. Let's try that and see what it's like. And it turned out better than I would have ever expected. And again, I want to second the whole family aspect of the gang, because I think that's probably a lot of what the drama in the gang really comes from, is the family interaction. And you've got the parent figures, and you've got the siblings that maybe you're fighting with, but that you really still care for because they're in the gang. And like, it really reinforced all of that during the character creation. So it's very good.
Yeah, and what I love is that was 100% organic. Like, that was you guys. That didn't exist in the text. That didn't exist in my expectations. There were no questions I asked of like, who's the daddy? Like, you guys glommed onto that as you created characters. I watched Jason evolve his character as everyone talked about their other characters. That's incredible, right? Because I'm used to, like, 10 years ago me. I'm sorry, Yoshi, I'll get to you in a second. 10 years ago me, like, I wrote my 10-page backstory before I ever interacted with the other players, because by God, I was going to tell this story that I had dreamed up in my head. And the fact that you guys play organically, that you create characters organically, you talk about, hey, let's tabula rasa that, let's discover that and play. That's catnip. And I don't like cats, but it's like catnip. It's so good.
And at the same time, it was very Star Wars. And it felt like a Star Wars story you don't ever see. You're used to seeing the heroes. This is the scum of the earth, barely scraping by. So that's good too.
Yep. Yoshi, I've delayed you, but now I must hear from you.
I absolutely loved it. I'm echoing everybody else, and I loved how the interactions and the ties that we have together. I thought that was fantastic. Like, I really enjoyed all of those things. I also really appreciate all of like the work that you put in there, Rich. So like everything that I see, like in terms of like just everything that was said, like the sheets, all of the information. For me, one of the things that I fear about going into like historical and big like settings driven games is not knowing a bunch of this stuff about certain things or getting things wrong. And so like initially I was afraid of like picking something that wasn't human because I have no idea what that alien race was like. And so, but I think with all the stuff that you gave and all the prep in here, I think that really helped alleviate some of that. And just like me picking a Chiss who I literally know nothing about, I think it helped with just the little like 1 or 2 bit things that people like helped like chime in with, I think was really useful and helpful. And just the fact that we had such a diverse like group of characters, I think really helped with that. So that was cool.
Awesome. Thank you, Yoshi. My last thorn is that Steven won't be here next week, but Steven, we will see you in future sessions, and your Jawa definitely made an impression. He may cameo in next session, perhaps. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. You've made my Saturday morning amazing, and I had so much fun. Thanks for giving to each other and giving in to the idea of playing a Star Warsy game. I love the tone of this session. I love the characters. And yeah, this is absolutely a show I would watch. And it was great. I can't wait till next week. So you guys have a good rest of your day. And thanks again.
Thanks.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.